Good evening, everybody. Hello, just wait for a few people. Hi, my name's Louise Withers. I'm part of the team for the UK. I take studio light onto TV, and I've started my own range, and this is the fourth one, and this is my own concept, mindful moodling. It may sound strange, mindful moodling, but basically what it's about is having, hello everybody, hello, good evening. I will say hello to everybody I can. Basically it's about having time for yourself, time to draw when things get stressful, anxiety levels kick in. Moodling is a play on words, so it's art and moodle, so it works out that art and mood doodle moodle. So I've been doing this for many years now, and the concept has always been about doing it in different ways. So, you know, I'll do maybe a stitched one, so it's not just drawing. You can use it in any way that you want. Hello to everybody. Hello, we've got Patricia, Jeanette, Marianne, Janina, Janine, Hene. We've got, oh wow, Antoinette, Annette, Sylvia, Hene, absolutely, Karen. So thank you to everybody. So basically it's about me stamping, taking time, stitching, colouring, and just making the piece of work to give me a calm and level sort of time. So I do most days I do a live Facebook where we call it mindful moodling, but we've turned it into a whole range. So these are some of the things that I like to do. I like to create shapes and patterns with colour. They don't have to represent anything. They are quite abstract, but they do have some beautiful sort of patterning, so that you can see sometimes I might be in the mood to draw more linear things, but I still like, you'll find that these rivers focus in my work a lot. But again, colour against colour makes it vibrate. So we'll look at this one. This is a particular favourite because when it's just a sphere, but once you start to put sections of pattern in, you start to get colours vibrating next to each other, and it does create tension and good vibrancy. So some of these are unfinished. I've got hundreds and hundreds, I won't bore you, but these are unfinished, but I do go back to them. So I might create big spreads like this and then finish bits, and then I might go in like we all do with a pen, and then not working, come on, so I might go in with a pen and just draw when I'm in the mood to doodle. So I just finish them off. So I might do one, I might not, and then I'll just do different things. So here we've got a garden, and it's based on just round moodles. So these are very much in, when you see the collection, that you know, these shapes, but you know, vary, but they are basically the shapes. Hello everybody, hello, it's brilliant to be here. So you can see the shapes, hearts, the three little M's and the little bits. These are all based on the same shape, but in a different sort of feel for it. And then, you know, this is one of the feathers that I did, where instead of just leaving the moodle doodle, which is, for those who've just joined, a moodle is a link, and I'll just draw it out so we can say. So if we say a moodle equals art plus doodle. oops, plus mood. Did you get me? So that's what that is. That's why I called it Moodle. And mindful, because it's nice. It's nice. This one is quite a bright one and colourful, and yet there's things to be finished. I've used watercolours. You can use anything you want. This one's very unfinished, but I do love this because I've got the landscapes coming into it. And then that's just one we did during the day. And here's just some of my colour sheets. So yeah, it's very much what I do every day, balancing colours. So let's get down to it, shall we? So I've got some paper that I'm going to use. So I've got some watercolour paper. I like to use watercolour paper. I'm using Daler and Roundnet. You can get this anywhere. Thank you. I've got lots more gardens as well, and a smaller book, but we haven't got time today. Hopefully if I'm invited back, you'll give me time to sort of get them ready and show you. So I've also gathered together this is a very simple stamp that allows you to extend it across a page. I have got some of my doodles. I don't mind if this is me in the bag, because what I do is I'll show you. I create loads and put them in a bag so that I've got them ready. So, and then I've got some words. Now, enjoy, if you take off the EN, it makes joy, obviously. And then I've got some more. Now these are the things that help me create it. So I'll just put them on it. Now these are the doodles that I do regular. And these help if you make a mess of colouring or something, you can actually just put one of these on and it covers it up. So I have a nice selection. This is the waist, the words, and I do like these, and I have them in different colours, and I do snip some off if I don't want all the shape, to take some off. So even if I don't die cut them right or they snap, I just take bits off. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp this. So I'm going to take the page out so it's easier for me. I'm going to use hopefully I've got this here. So I've got my stamp platform as well, but I'm only going to use half of this because I don't want it to be too big. So I'm just going to rip that in half. Okay, and I'm going to just think, where do I want it? I think I will have it square, but if I do it in the middle I can chop it all down. So I'll just have that like that. Then I'm going to get my embossing powders. And I'm using a sticky embossing powder, which is for embossing, heat embossing. I'll move that out of the way for you. So I'm using my stamp press. Just going to put that right there. So just putting it in the middle. Not too worried about where it is because I'm going to cut it square. I'm just going to put this on. Now this could be a card, it could be a journal piece, it could be a scrapbook piece, it could be anything you want. It's entirely up to you what you do with them. Just the concept behind it is important, that you want to sort of create something colourful and bright and not have to worry about it being perfect or anything. You're just using colour and using 10 minutes in your day to help you chill out and relax. We all need to do that. We all have to do it. We are very, very busy, so we need time to chill out. Now I do like to give it time to sink in, because if I don't, sometimes I take it off too quick and I haven't got it everywhere. But I'm not too worried. I like to give it another press in the middle. I normally do this stood up, so I can just see now. You can just see because my ink's a little bit dirty. I'll put that back on there so I don't dirty that. And I'm going to emboss it now with some whites, because what I thought was it would be quite nice to let the colours do the magic. So I've got a piece of paper. I'm just going to put the white on. Now you could use anything. This is a fine white and this is by Wow, but there's lots of people who do different ones, so you choose whatever you want, but I've chosen a white fine. And fine are really easy because once you've got your line on there, then that actually helps it to keep the detail. Just going to turn this on. I love this. I love seeing this go. Thank you so much, everybody. I'm so happy that you like it. And I've got some lessons coming up on little projects, so hopefully you can join me as well. So here I'm just embossing it. Don't go mad with your embossing, just take your time, and as it turns, but you all will know this, won't you? I apologise if this is a bit you already know. So that's my profession is a teacher, so I am very, very much like a teacher all the time. Please excuse me. So always check. And my advice is, can you see the heat there? That's the water in the paper. So straighten it out by just blowing it aside. Now let it cool down, and then you get a nice flat surface. So there, what I've done is I tend to have lots of inks and things to take with me everywhere I go, and I love bright colours, you know, everything. I love it bright. I know I'm doing a very simple piece today, but I feel that colours, bright colours, can really be inks and watercolour inks. So these are watercolour inks, and they're very much like the Ecoliner pens that I have. All this is the inks. I let the inks dry, and then I've got a wonderful concentrated colour. So these are inks. You could use watercolours, pencils, crayons. You could use, which I'm going to use some of these coloured gel pens. I will put them all together and I'll mix them up and show you how many different surfaces I use and products I use, because you will have something that you can use on this. So I've got a paintbrush. I'm not too worried. The paintbrush isn't that important because I'm going to sort of let the inks do their thing. So the first thing I'm going to do is just, now it's warm because it's had that heat on it, so you need to let it have a drink. So all I'm doing is just putting the water on here, letting it go out the side there. I'm just doing the inner ring. So if I just show you on the actual map, you'll be able to see it. I am just doing this part here, and that part, and then I'm just giving it a bit of water so that it can sink in. There's already colour on my brush, but it really doesn't matter. So just there, maybe move over to this one and let it flow off. Now if you haven't got inks or watercolour inks, or you could use Ecoliners, so you just get a piece of plastic, and I'll show you all the tips and tricks I've got. Like that will work just the same as this. The gel pens, whatever you've got, believe it or not, there is some on that, and that'll work. So you can use them all. So the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to see, now can you see how that strong that colour is now? So I'm just going to let it drop in. And I'm allowing some of the ink to be strong and some to be quite nice and loose. Now take a clean brush and this is the first layer. So I'm just taking that down with a clean brush and a tiny bit of water. So I've got an edge that's quite bright and vibrant, but the light is at the other edge. Now that needs more work, so what I do is just drop it in while it's wet to the edge and let the action, capillary action, which means that, like, well, I don't know the Dutch word, but it's the water draws it out like that, and you let it do it. Don't try and force it too much. So we've got that there. Now any little bits of colour here, so don't worry too much about the lines. I'm going to use the orange now, and I'm going to just put the orange in here. Now this is from the Ecoline pen. So again, you can now put that on there. The pens are fantastic, nice and thick. Colours, brilliant colours. So I've just put a little bit on there. I just want it to get sort of used to it. Now I'm going to mix the two colours because I know that will go together. So a little bit of blue and the green, and I'll get, this is more of a watercolour effect now, so I'm going to put in just a little bit and blend it as I do it. And the reason I'm using these two colours mix is because I know that they're going to go, because they actually, I've already got the two colours there, and I'm just putting these in here. And again, don't worry too much about getting it perfectly blended. The idea is that you enjoy what you're doing. So we've got that there. Just going to bring a little bit of that colour in it, a little bit. And I'm just putting at the edge of here, just the edge, a tiny bit of the turquoise. Not too much. I don't want to change the colour, like that. And then with a dry brush, I'm just blending that out, because don't forget it's already got a little bit of dampness in the, there we go, that's nice there. So what we could add the same to that. I'm going to see now, I'm going to leave this a thing and just might drop a little bit of depth in here. So I've got some more to do, so I'm going to get these done. And this is the best bit about it really, because you can go on, as long as I'm using the same colours, so I'm using greens and blues for this. You can use any colours you want just to colour this in, and then add depth later on with the other colours you've got. Don't do too many colours if you want it to be calm. If you want it to be nice and bright, then go for as many as you want. And just remember that when you're working next to each other though, you will have a chance of contaminating colours, but on this it doesn't really matter at all. So you can see now, the trick is put the colour down and then add the depth to your colour, just to the edges, and it starts to bring it out just a little bit. I'm sorry, this is a fixed cam, so I don't always have the option to go in and out, in and out. So we've got some beautiful blues, and I'm going to go in with more blues. And it just goes on. It's as quick as this, or you can take as much time as you want, or as little time as you want, and it just so relaxing. So now I'm going to do a little bit more blending. So I've got a softness, so this is just water. So we're going round to hardly anything round here. I'll drop a little bit more in there. Use this very much like a colouring pencil, where you're adding depth. That's nice. So now we need to think about the colour that goes with this. So the predominant colour has got to be the turquoise. So I'm just going to run in over all of this with the turquoise to match that in, and then I'll put yellow in that one, because I'm going to match these two up and those two. we go. Clean my brush. I'll get some more yellow orange from the Eco lines. I have got some there, but they're a bit contaminated, so I thought I'd do it on here just to show you that you can use anything. So we'll use a different orange. It's actually quite nice. It's a calmer orange, so it looks slightly different, but it doesn't matter as long as you're keeping within the colour family, the two colours. It'll look nice because it's called a split complementary. 4 colours that are all opposite each other on the colour wheel. So put that in, add a little bit more, and what you can do is drop in some colour direct, because you can use these like this. So you could use your blue and ink pens, you could use anything you want, whatever's your preferred colour you use. So here I'm going to just drop in a little bit there and bring that in. And if you're not using a good watercolour paper, then this will be so hard to do, and it will dishearten you because it'll be not looking as nice as you want. So here, there we go. We've got a little bit of a bleed there. I love that. I absolutely love that. So here we've got it there. We need to bring in some colours. So what we need to do is maybe I'll do an orange here. So direct, so you can use direct to, too much water, direct to paper, and then get a colour intensity and allow the colours to melt and blend together their own way. It's like that. So we need another one just to bring it down, so I'll put it here, and then that way we've got the orange around. If you do get a little bit off there, just pull it off, it doesn't matter. So I've got that there. I go to look in now to blues, so blues and greens together. So I will bring in a turquoise, and if you do your embossing, this all is really easy because you're colouring in. And again, don't forget the little trick of dropping in more to the edge and letting it blend out itself. Now what I might do is just drop that in there. And just bring a little bit of that element to all of them. Okay, now, so we've got this. What we need now is more of a green over here. So let's look for maybe a greeny green, if that makes sense. So let's see. So by the time you finish this, you'll be really relaxed, you'll be a lot more chilled, and you'll have enjoyed sort of being creative. There's no right or wrong way. You can't get it wrong because you can't do it wrong. There's nobody to say that's right and that's wrong. That's the beauty of it. You can't get it right or wrong. Now, my brush was getting a little bit dirty then because I didn't wash it. So just go back in with that and add the colour. So I've more or less coloured them all in. I'm looking at this, so I'm going to do very light green in there. I just bring that in like that. Don't want it too dark because I want the colours to be strong but not too strong. This might be a little bit too dark, so I take a little bit off. That's better. That's much better. So I'm going to pick that colour and do another one down here just so that I've got a companion, so to speak, or it doesn't look as lonely. Now if you've got time, just spend a little bit of time putting the colours in, and it doesn't matter if it bleeds, because that's the beauty of it. It looks intentional. Just going to drop in a tiny bit of the dark colour around here and here and in there. This gives it a bit more depth now. I'm just going to bring that out, and I'm looking at this, so I need a light orange or a yellow, so I'm going with a brighter yellow here. Keeping with my colour series. There we go. Got a cool and a warm yellow and all sorts of things happening. Now here I'm looking for an orange, so I'll go back in with the orange and have the yellow there. When I was a child, I used to spend hours and hours colouring in, and it used to really, I used to love it. So why can't I do it when I'm older? Well, I can, and that's why I did this, because I can do it now I'm older. Nobody says I can't. You can do it. You must do it for your own sanity. And by putting colours next to each other when you're colouring in, you're making them vibrate. So I'm going to chop this right down, and I'm going to put on some different bits and bobs. So if I cut that right down, what I'm going to do is put a really light wash, believe it or not, in the background, and I'm going to use something like pink, and it's a bright colour, but it's a wash, and it's different from everything else that I've used. So just got a little bit here. It's a bit bright, I'll show you on there. But I only want a little bit, so you can just hardly see it. And I'm going to start it in one corner just to see what it looks like. Way too bright. That's better. And I'm just going to put on a really soft, get my tissue. Because what I want to do is pick up all the white colour that's been missed, all the embossing. And then this way, the page isn't white, but it isn't too bright either. So there we go. Just put that in there. So we've got that. Now that sort of fades it back a little bit now, and you can brush the colours out if you wish. Have it really light, have it really dark, but we're only concentrating on one element of this, just not all of it. So I'm going to concentrate on this bit. So if I just have my cutter, and I'm just going to show you what I mean by this. If you wanted to, you could easily just, this is wet, so it might not cut properly, but if you wanted to, you could continue the stamp all the way along. But I just wanted to show you that you can also cut it down. So I'm chopping it just to where the stamp starts. And that's because I want it to look like tidier. Like that. So I've got my piece down there. It's cut really simply. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get a few of these. Now what you can do is colour your own hearts and things, whatever you choose. Choose anything you want on here. I don't want all of these, so I'm going to take some off. So I'm just going to take little bits off, and I'm going to just think, I don't want that one either. So this is the nice thing about it. You don't have to have them all on if you only want a smaller space or a smaller section. That's miles better now, miles better. And then I'm going to have just one or two of these. So all I'm going to do now is I'm going to give this a wash of colour. So you can do this any colour you want. I'm just going to put it on this piece of paper. If you do it black, then it'll be the same as the other. So I think what I'll do is I'll do it dark purple and see what it looks like. So I'm putting a bit of that on. I'm going to drop a bit of the pink in. I love the pink. So now I've got a nice sort of multicoloured one. I'm going to keep that because that'd be a great background. There you go, nice background. So, and then a stamp on that. So I've got this now. The pink is now different to all the other colours, so it's bringing the colours up. I've got my, this is where you can try and see whether you want to use them. These are good as like little, see, I was thinking, no, I want it that way. Just going to take them off there. And I think I'll just take that off there. Like that. Quite like that. I might darken this in areas, but you could cut it down if you wanted. Now, I've got all different words. I think if I have that on there, it's a little bit too much. If it's there, do I like that? Do I like little sections of it? Tell you what, I know what I'm going to do. I've changed my mind, sorry. Right, I'll get my glue. It should be around here somewhere. And I'm just going to do some, if it's unbunged, some of these. Now, these are the little doodles that I do, and I'm just going to put them on there. So, excuse the plastic, that's one. You don't need a lot of glue. Need a bit more glue up there. The centres of these are really nice because the waste that you do, the waste is very useful as well. Sometimes if you just put a bit of glue on a surface like that and just drop it in, it's a lot easier. Oops. So I'm trying to build up layers because the black looked too strong there. So by adding more layers, I'm getting a better sort of, what's the word? I'm getting a better sort of balance. That's better. Now, don't be frightened to sort of use the little bits that are in there to do corners or lines if you wish. Just use all of it. Use whatever you want. I do know that it's quite hard to buy now, so hopefully they've got some in the shops where you buy, but I do know it's sold out most places. So I do apologise, but I didn't realise it was going to be that busy. So I've got it here now, and the little pieces that you cut off, don't throw them away because they will go perfectly round here. And the waist is as well. So let's have another look at this back. This, see, now it's starting to look better because I've got more of a contrast and stuff. So I'm just going to put this here. Now I'm thinking this needs something behind it. Or do I even need it? So I quite like it there. I'm sticking this down because otherwise it'll drive me mad. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on that. go. That's better. And then I'll chop that off when it's dry. And I'm just thinking about whether I like it on. You see here, this is one of the parts I cut off. And I'm just thinking it'd be quite nice on there. Or would a big stripe across there be nice? You don't have to have it like this, or maybe just there. What you have to do now is make those choices now. What do you want on here? Do you want the words? Do you want art on it? Do you want something like joy? See, it all depends on what you want to do. See, I prefer the word joy on it, because I think the art is too heavy for it. So I'm just going to get the glue, and then I'm just going to draw over this and just show you what I mean. So I'm just going to put joy on it. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to get a black pen that runs. On one side, just one side like that. I'm going to get the paintbrush, and all I'm going to do is just run a little tiny bit of black on it, just to shade it out. This is all part of the journey of creating this. It's all part of it, because you want the joy to stand out, but you don't want to lose the colours underneath, or anything else. But by using a pen, and then just you're getting that depth there now. Do a little bit at a time, and choose, like I'm choosing one side, so I'm choosing everything on this side, or it doesn't really matter. It's your work at the end of the day. Whatever you want to do is entirely the right thing. But I'm just creating a little bit of shadow. It might be a little bit tricky to see, but you'll see when you do it yourself that you get a lot of depth to your work by doing that. It doesn't work with Sakura because they're a permanent pen, but it does work with the handwriting pens. I mean, I use a lot of handwriting pens for my work. Just putting a little bit down here. There we go. So again, bring it out, and then I'm just going to get a little bit under here, and this really does blend it out a little bit so I don't get too much. And you can do this on all your circles if you want, like if you wanted to do it. Just scribble in them. Like I said, make sure it's waterproof, it's water-based, so that you can do that. And then what you can do is get a piece of paper, any colour paper that you want. I've got black here, the other box. Any colour you can add, as long as it's you're thinking, right, well, what am I going to do? Perfect, you see, you've got a perfect. Now I want to show you what it looks like with the pink on it. So we've got that on the pink. Okay, we've got it pink and black. We've got a green that would really work with it as well. So the colour will change completely how you want it. What I would do now is just go over everywhere there's white that you've missed, go in with a little bit of watercolour so that it all shines. Then you're going to get a white pen and just a bit of glitter, and I'm just going to go over it. Don't have to do this. Just another dimension. If you probably can't see it, but a bit of glitter on the Jelly Roll Stardust. So we've got that. You don't have to do it all, just do bits and then blend it in. And then on the white, the inside, you can get a really nice effect if you get a white pen or any colour pen. I would say though, it needs to be dry, so you can draw on your black, you can draw on the white, you can do anything, you can colour in. This is the bit that gets really, really, you get your pens, colour in these little bits. You can just go mad with it. Because now it's your work, you can do whatever you want on it. But it's all about you having time and enjoying it, taking your work to perhaps something that you don't normally do. But it's time for you. It's all time for you to be creative. And you can do whatever you want. So I put some orange in these because it sort of goes with these. You could add orange in these. You could go here and just, it's entirely up to you. You do get carried away with it. You do, really do get carried away. Especially with the gel pens because you can put glitter everywhere. I'll bring it up close just to show you. This is the bit that most people, when they're moodling, this is the bit that they really enjoy, the finishing bit where you get everything coming together. So and believe it or not, you know, I know there's lots and lots of colours, but there's actually only a couple of colours in here, and it's just shades of that colour. There's like yellows and oranges, blues and greens, and a bright pink to make it pop. So I'm just colouring this in to show you what I mean. You start to get lots of pattern forming with that, and you get to see all the silver and gold and all the doodles that you've got, all the patterns that you've made. You know, here you might want to put your own little drawings on it, and if you've got another colour, I love just adding colour because I just think, I don't think you can beat colour. Here I've got a gold, and I'm just going to do my own little doodles in it. So, and I tend to stick to the colours that are near it. So I'd like oranges are here, I'd stick to green or a blue or an orange. It's, to me, it's easier if you do that. It's not too much. A little bit of red there, yellow, and if you wanted to, just put tiny little dots or dashes on your work there. So basically, that's how I moodle, and it's really important that you enjoy the whole idea of moodling and enjoying the time you take to do these things, and it's not so much what you end up with, but enjoying how you get there. So if I was to sort of mount this up, that's got a different look to it to how I mount it up with that. So you can see a very different effect. I quite like that one actually, because it's got a very different colour, very powerful. And then you could put this as a card, as a background. You could make it into wrapping paper, huge if you want. But you can just see now how the impact of it and the joy. You know, and if you wanted it to work out even more, you could do a wide strip that has, you know, put this on it and draw around this, or just have that and colour that in with a stamp in the background and have that as a focal point. But if I was going to do that, I'd do something a little bit simpler. So here we can see some little examples that I did, showing different stuff. So I've got loads of ideas, and all you need to do is just enjoy what you're doing. So I'll just go back to show you the colours. So this is the hot and cold colours and doodles in here. So this is like me. I would very much have a play with colours and just check. I'll show you again. Have a play with colours to see what they look like with your stuff. Where are the good ones? Not there. There we go. So look at the colours. You get to this point, and that's what I mean about this pen. You would start to go back in, add your gems, add your colours, and it just, you can't ever finish it, I don't think. So this one needs doing, but if we look at these, again, very much just colouring in, and you get this wonderful sort of power then, because it's, don't do it, I wouldn't do it all over. I would just choose elements that are sort of balanced sections, and by that I mean maybe pick 3 elements of yellow. Oh, it's already done, my next collection. It's not done, but yeah, it's in pipeline. I think you'll like it. So I've got purple, so here I'm just going to go purple. And by doing this on top of your work, you're now continuing my journey. So if you do it on here, if you do this on the work, you're adding your own part to it. So it's only a quick one, just a quick colour, how to colour with these. You don't have to do this. You don't have to do this at all. You could do anything you want. I'm just showing you how I would colour one in. So yeah, I would perhaps chop that off because that looks a bit scruffy, but I really like the idea of, you know, don't forget, in fact I'm going to get rid of that one as well. You know, change the shape that you've got, change what you use it for, change the idea. Just because I've done it a heart doesn't mean it has to stay like that. Just because I've done the word enjoy doesn't mean you can't rip off the en and put another word in it. So remember, it's a starting point for you. So I'm finished a bit early today, but I hope you got the idea with that. I've got some more colouring in and different colours and ideas coming along on my Facebook lives. But yeah, and look at the mess of my table. That means I've really thoroughly enjoyed it. So yeah, so thank you very much indeed. I really do appreciate your time. I hope you enjoyed that. And yeah, I hope people get to understand a little bit more about mindful moodling. So from me in the UK, thanks very much, and bye.